Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, Alessandro, how are you doing?
Good, good. I can't see your screen yet. There we are.
Oh, we are live. So, welcome to the penultimate series of this whole power of Qigong. And I've just been looking. We've already had quite a few people on the viewing side of things, which is awesome. And today we're going through quite an important subject, which we've been talking about for a while. I can see you're already getting ready there to shake off some of that excess energy. So today we are talking about how you can quickly release stress and quickly and efficiently. Now, that sounds like a pretty steep challenge because of the fact that being able to get rid of something that a lot of people carry on their shoulders on a daily basis is not something that once you've got used to carrying all the stress and how it affects you doesn't seem to be something that you can then just get rid of very, very easily. I'm sure there are people watching today, from whether they're watching on YouTube or Facebook or on LinkedIn. They've learned to manage stress, should we say, and just kind of carry it along on their shoulder, as it were. So talk to us, Alessandro. We've been doing this is the 8th of the series, and it's been an incredibly enlightening process to learn from you so far. And now I'm really eager to delve into this subject and find out, where do we start?
Yeah, I've learned a lot as well. Thanks, Mac. I love, LinkedIn is such a great platform because it's becoming a lot friendlier. And, in the old days, this kind of thing would never have happened on LinkedIn, a live talk about Qigong and about stress. So I appreciate you, bringing us together, not just me, but you're doing this for other people as well, and how you're kind of helping us to become more authentic human and show up and give value, which is what we're here for. So to talk about stress, quite interesting. You said a lot of people are maybe aware of it, not sure how to get rid of it. I'd start by saying a lot of people are not aware of it, but the body holds it, the mind holds it. I mean, 80% of our thoughts are what we were thinking about yesterday. The mind is, as Eckhart Tolle says, we're out of our minds usually, because we're just thinking about the past or the future. We're not fully present. So we're not always aware of the stress we're carrying. And especially in the body, our natural state is kind of holding stress in. So we're going to go through 8 different ideas or steps for releasing stress today. And 4 or so will be standing. So if people are sitting, they can stand. After all, it's probably after work for a lot of people. But I think, thinking about how the body gets used to being a certain way. I know when I think I've been doing Qigong 35 years, and I think I had 1 year when I kind of didn't do much or hardly anything with my teacher. And when I went back, I'd really noticed the difference in my energy, my body, my mind, everything. But I got used to being in the casual, stressed state, which then, we do things like, drink, or, we find things to kind of deal with the stress, but it's not really going deep. And I love that Pink Floyd song, Comfortably Numb. I think your average person is comfortably numb, I would say. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, the stress is somewhere hidden, but we can't really find it. But then it rears its head often in quite serious ways if we don't deal with it.
Yeah.
So with Qigong, we're releasing before it's allowed to build up too much. But if it has built up, this is also very effective to clear the stress.
Awesome stuff. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing all these little techniques, because when you were talking about the your year off and being comfortable, as it were, and I look at the average human behavior, and I love watching people. So I'm a big people watcher. I'll go and sit in the park and just watch and look at how people react and what they do and how they interact. But little things like just going and sitting in a park on a park bench and watching how somebody is sitting on there. And there's some people that go and they're sitting straight up, back straight, and the posture is good. And then you get other people that literally they're lounging in a hard park bench. But they get so used to it that ultimately your muscle structure and your skeletal structure changes because of the fact that you're not doing these things to kind of bring you back to the right form that you should be in.
Wow, I think you should do the same today. You sound you're on form there.
I'm just thinking about all those sofa surfers, as an example.
But you brought up some great points, that the spine is literally our backbone is what supports us. If we collapse it and we sit in a lazy way in the office or at home or watching TV, the body, of course, it becomes lazy. The energy is not flowing freely or efficiently up and down the spine, which is carrying oxygen, to the brain, to the internal organs. Everything is relating to the spine. So even while I'm standing here, or we're standing here, just to sense this idea, the feet into the earth and the spine, aiming, releasing up, the head floats up slightly, the tailbone floats down slightly. So the spine, even if we're standing, just get a sense of this extension, because if the spine is extended, then the energy is flowing more freely and the whole body will benefit. So when we're sitting, you made a very good point there. Notice how we sit, and later we'll do a little sitting exercise for the office. But to start with, let's do point number one.
Sure.
To de-stress, clear a lot of the tension in the body is a simple thing, which is just shaking it off and shaking it out. If people are sitting, they can do it sitting down, but standing is actually a bit better to start with. And shake it down and down to the earth. The earth is always very happy to take everything from us. In the Chinese medicine, for example, or Qigong, the earth is yin, the nourishing and the receptive. So we can just drop everything down. And shaking is quite interesting because animals do it when they have trauma. They just shake it out immediately. There's loads of things on YouTube. You can see the animals shaking immediately. Kids shake their stress out immediately. I was talking to a woman recently and she was telling her 2 children off and they were shaking. And she said, "Why are you shaking?" And she said, "Because you're telling us off." And I thought, what a great example of the kids immediately releasing. So if we feel the tension building up, and often in the office, in a static position, the shoulders, usually the larger joints, just shake everything down to earth, almost like dropping the heaviness off the body. And that's a very good and easy thing to do. And the wrists especially, and the fingers, because we use these a lot on our little phones, on the computers, quite important to keep the fingers flexible. We'll do a bit more on the fingers later when we're sitting.
The thumbs.
Sorry?
Especially the thumbs.
Yeah, the thumbs.
No, I'm just saying on the phone all the time.
Yeah, that relates to the head and the neck, the thumb. So the hands reflect the whole body. So just moving all the fingers, and if they feel painful, any of them, it's a sign we just need to do a bit more work, which we'll do later on the fingers. So shaking everything off and down, and that can be done in 2 minutes. Just take a mini break from work. Second part is like a cleansing or clearing off from the body. So if we have tension in the shoulders, just clean it off as if you're taking the dust or the tension. And the body recognizes touch. You know, we don't sort of touch much in this country. Not that I'm encouraging touching.
Yeah, we've got to be very careful of how we.
Yeah, I have to be. But a few years ago, when I did a massage course, they said that they counted how many times people touch when they have a conversation per hour in the UK, and they did all the European countries. UK was zero touch. I think Portugal was top with 43 times in an hour. UK was zero. So I'm not saying we have to touch other people a lot, but even touch, like when we rub the body and clean off, it just feels quite nice. And that's why massage is a very nice thing to receive and to give, because it's kind of physically clearing things off the body. And then lower back as well, because we sit on it a lot of the day, just cleaning off any tension. Can be with the back of the hands or the front. Back of the knees, a lot of tension in the knees because we're sitting a lot, and the knees often quite bent, so they should be just softly bent. So a lot of tension in the joints. We mentioned the wrists. Close, open the wrists a bit, shake off. Okay, so shaking and then cleaning anywhere that feels a bit heavy. The mind tends to be quite busy. Part 3 is something for the mind, to relax the mind. Actually, we haven't mentioned breathing yet. We're going to come to breathing later. But okay, while we're doing this, a good way to breathe initially is breathing out from the mouth, a long breath out, clearing a lot of the stuck energy in the body, breathing in through the nose. So we're exchanging the air, pure, fresh air into the body, stuffy air out. A lot of stuffy air is stuck energy as well. So just with the breathing, we can help it a lot. So while we're doing this, we can use this kind of breathing at the moment. So with the head, same idea. A lot of the thoughts tend to be towards the front. So cleaning from the front to the back of the head, cleaning this energy, sending the heavy element to the back, to the hair where it belongs. Often the hair or the thoughts too heavy on the front. So we want to keep the face quite clear. And we can just clean the face as if taking the dust off or any masks we might be wearing. Sometimes when we're tense or anxious, it's as if we're wearing a tension mask. People can see it and pick it up. So this is quite a nice way to clear the energy, clear the face. They say the windows are the eyes of the soul. Help the eyes also become clearer. And then clean the division between the hair and the face. This is often where the thinking, even things like headaches, things get stuck between the face and the hair. So we're cleaning that division. And then just moving the energy. So this can be done. We're doing this now on the head, with the shoulders, with the arms. This is a little bit of the self-healing Qigong practice. We're moving energetically the energy down to earth and off from the body. Anything stuck, we're just moving it off from the body. Okay, so I think we can sit. Yes, should we sit?
Yeah, I'm there already.
I couldn't read what I'd written. I just wanted to remember the points. So sitting, we can do something on the hands. We use the hands so much on the computers. I just want to mention again that all the fingers relate to the internal organs, to the senses. So if we can keep the hands quite soft, So do some rubbing on the knuckles, as if melting one hand into the other, dissolving. And the knuckles tend to be, sometimes get a bit cold when we have issues with the hands, with the body. Actually, the knuckles also reflect the spine. If I hold the hands like this, these are the vertebrae. The knuckles are the... So here, in a way, we're treating our own spine, our vertebrae. So keeping the hands soft, keeping the fingers flexible, like seaweed moving gently. And the space between the fingers, quite important. So put the fingers together, open up, together, open up, together, open up. Shaking off. If the hands do feel a bit tense or uncomfortable, that's fine. But we're clearing a lot of the energy off from the hands. Shoulders to the hands, energy always coming down through these channels or meridians. If we keep these smooth, then we can work more efficiently. So the hands should feel quite warm, soft. And then, any questions? Otherwise, I can continue. I think I saw.
I'm just thinking about this process that you're going through, and for some people watching, they might be saying, well, "What the heck are Alessandro and Mac doing?" But when I'm going through these different little exercises and just thinking about the fact that on a daily basis we'll spend so many hours, especially during since the pandemic, where everything's moved to this whole digital space, and a lot of people are working from home and in their behind their desks or sitting at a kitchen table or wherever they are sitting, not necessarily with the best environment set up, as an example, for having the right posture and things like that. But it's amazing how we'll go to gym to build certain muscles, but we don't look after the basics and work those key elements that we use on a daily basis. So just the hands, just doing this as an example, when we're sitting there and we're working and we're typing and our wrists are at the end of a table or on a desk, and I used to get a lot of problems with my wrists and my hands tightening up and just being exhausted, that you don't really think that you need to go and do anything about that to address these basic things, like just being sitting properly and bringing the energy out and giving your hands that opportunity to be able to release some of that what do they call it, like lactic acid, as it were, that you tend to build up as well.
Yeah. And just to explain to people, I mean, you can treat the body, a good acupuncturist, you can treat the body through the ear, the whole body. You can treat the body through the hands. You can treat the body through the feet in reflexology. So the whole body is reflected in all these different areas. So we're not doing something that we're making up or we hope it works. This is a 4,000-year-old practice, and these are just energy practices, and we are energy beings. So like you say, we cultivate the muscles and the strength in the gym, but actually internally we also need cultivate this internal system, because that's where the stress builds up internally, in the mind, in the lungs with anxiety. So we'll come to that in a minute with some breathing.
Excellent. So before you go on, Alessandro, for those people watching, I'd love you to just drop in into the comments where you're watching from. Let us know that. And also, if you've ever suffered from stress in any way, just put a big yes into the comments. Because I'm sure we'll have a couple of yeses. And if you have any questions for Alessandro as we go on, please pop those into the comments as well, and we'll share those and address them as we go along.
Any questions would be great. Thank you. So sitting posture, quite important. We talked about the spine, the importance of the spine being open, energy always coming up the spine into the brain, oxygenating the brain, energizing the brain, and then it comes down. That's the way the energy moves in the body, circulates. It's called the inner cosmic circulation in Qigong. But in medically, energy travels up and down the spine and comes down the front. So when we're sitting like this, ideally better to sit towards the front of the chair, like you mentioned earlier, on a bench, on a sofa. If we sit back, the energy is a bit collapsed. If you just try it, you just feel a bit weak, you know. So if you gently just go slightly forwards, so the sit bones on the chair, the feet always flat on the ground, not to cross the legs. That's one of the worst things we can do for our spine, crossing the legs 2-3 times, you know, like people do. Feet flat on the ground, connected to the earth. Just sense the spine, the base of the spine, the tailbone, we call it. Just move it gently as if it's going into the earth, as if the tailbone is searching for the earth. So you can gently move the hips and then feel the spine slightly extending upwards. And we're not forcing this, we're just following the movement of the spine because it wants to stretch and extend to the top of the head. You feel the head slightly floated up. And so this is just a postural thing which can really help when we're working to get the energy internally flowing and in balance, rather than collapsed on one side or sitting back, or you know, the ways we mentioned earlier, which is the casual way of working. So you don't have to be tense about it, but just release the spine, see what happens. Just notice the head slightly floated up, the neck also released, and then that's a good sitting posture. We can work easily. And just notice if you then collapse again, notice the difference. You know, you won't be able to sit back and work easily because you'll feel your energy is a lot lower.
Yeah, you also don't feel very motivated when you're sitting back, back to, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what happens is we tend to say, oh, I need a coffee because I'm tired, but actually we might be tired because we're not sitting properly. And so quite interesting how we get the energy moving for a short time. But this is a way to really help the posture, you know, long term, and also keep the energy flowing. And then the breath. I think there's two really important ways to breathe that can be very efficient. We started breathing out from the mouth and in from the nose. So that's a good way to start to clear stress from the body. We're breathing out, taking time to breathe out, clearing the stagnation, breathing in through the nose. The deeper breathing is just putting the hands on the lower abdomen, just below the belly button. This is our main energy center. And when we're born, we breathe here, actually. So if we just gently put the hands here, just using the nose, breathe in, feel this area expanding a little bit. Breathing out, this area collapsing a little bit. Just using the nose. Breathing in, expanding. Breathing out, collapsing. And this area has a great capacity to store energy, to heal the body when we get the energy really centered here and built up here. So with the breath, we're cultivating the energy down to where it belongs, to our main energy center. And this helps to rest the mind a bit. Of course, we're doing this with the hands here now, difficult to work on a computer, but if you just bring the breath down here, continue breathing here, you can continue doing your work. But this keeps the mind quite settled, focused, and the breath is gently moving the lower abdomen. But when we put the hands there, we can feel it more and might be able to feel a warmth here as well. That's quite a good sign. So we don't want to switch off.
It settles you down quite quickly as well. You'll just feel like your heart rate reduces and just.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. When we put the attention, put the mind elsewhere, say on the breath, the mind definitely is more settled, means also the mind has more capacity for ideas, inspiration, solutions. So this is a good way in. And the next breathing practice, quite useful. You know, I used to be in corporate and go into meetings, which often were very tense. So this is, we call it a body breathing or pulse breathing. So just imagining every cell of the body is breathing with the air around us. So mentally just switch off from trying or efforting to breathe. Just feel as if every cell is exchanging with the air around us. Or the air around us is breathing every cell. The cells do breathe. The skin is the biggest organ. So sense the cellular breathing. And when we sleep, something is breathing us, because if we had to think about it, we wouldn't be alive. Magically, something is keeping us something is breathing us. Same idea now. Just get a sense of that universal breath exchanging with us, and no effort needed. And just notice what happens. The whole body or system really settles down. Quite useful to do in a meeting. Doesn't mean you switch off from the meeting. In fact, you're probably more present if you just tune in to this way of breathing. You're calmer, you're more receptive, you're less reactive. The emotions are more settled as well. So this is a very useful technique to kind of gather your energy fully, contain your energy, be more present, and also very good for the whole system, oxygenating the blood. Allow yourself to be breathed.
Oh, well, just sitting over here, I'm feeling a lot more present. And I think about, the amount of meetings we go into and how easy it is to, you rush in the meeting, you're thinking about what you were dealing with before you came in, and then thinking about the meeting that you've got to go to next, and trying to be present is sometimes quite difficult. I think just this breathing side of things, just by following you and listening to your voice now, that straight away just kind of centers you very nicely and just brings you to the present, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And there's lots of, breathing techniques and ways. I did a podcast the other day with somebody, with Tracy, and it'll be on soon. And she's a functional breathing practitioner, expert. And she was talking about the importance of breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, what happens. I'm very interested to learn more myself. I'm very open to it. These aren't the only ways, but in Qigong terms, if you can be breathed, the whole system definitely settles down. And if you can do more active breathing down to your main energy center, definitely it's resting the lungs, it's making us less anxious or worried. So immediately the system settles down. So there's many other ways. I think people can research that, maybe watch the podcast when it comes out, etc. Okay, and any questions? We've got a couple more points to go, but I'm happy to answer if anybody's asking anything, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're very relaxed. And
well, so far it looks like everybody's relaxed, because we haven't had any questions come through yet. We've had a few hellos and highs, and people from various different places. But I think let's move on to the next point there, Alessandro.
Next point is our feet. We're sitting, our feet are into the earth, and we can do this standing up, but because we're sitting and often we're at a desk, the idea is to just open up the arms, extend from the spine up into the sky, and then just move the energy down the back of the head, push down to the feet. So we're opening up the body anywhere that's tense. We're stretching, opening into the sky. We're connecting up with this, if you like, the yang energy, the pure energy, bringing it through the body and moving it through the legs, through the feet, into the earth. Very simple, but very effective way to reorganize the energy system. Often if the mind is quite busy, then we can clear the mind by moving the energy down, back of the head, through the legs, into the earth. We're grounding the energy, becoming more present, opening up the body, breathing whichever way we feel comfortable. Often just in and out through the nose is a good way. So this is quite a bit more active, moving the energy through the body. So this is the whole body, can be broken down. The arms moving from the shoulder to the hands, moving any tension down this way. So we're actually energetically smoothing the energy through the body. And this is partly, a healing practice, but also strengthening and moving the energy through. You might feel like sometimes a flow through the body. So this is for the shoulders and the arms, lower back, legs, push down to the feet, just moving the energy through the legs. We tend to sit so much. So if we move the energy from the lower back, tends to get tense down to the feet, then we're breaking the movement down for the whole body. The head we did earlier, we can just repeat that, front to the back, front to the back, front to the back, moving the energy off. So this way the head clearer quite quickly, the body clearing, and then feeling more aligned, awake, and then we can be more productive at work because the body's had a kind of mini work.
Awesome stuff. Sure, there's so many little things that you don't really think about, and having gone through these 8 weeks with you, it's been amazing how you don't really, we don't often take time out to focus on our own well-being, and we work, and then you may spend time with the family, and then you're exhausted, so you lie on the sofa, or you sit. And I'm just thinking of our the wonderful age that we live in of electronics and mobile devices, and how easy it is to, from a posture perspective, as an example, to be sitting there and you've got your phone and you're working on your phone, to all of a sudden be doing this and slumping forward. And I look at my daughter as an example, loves TikTok. And she sent me a TikTok link the one day. She goes, "Oh, you got to watch this video." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go on, I'll have a look." And it's, we've got all these things that are grabbing and absorbing our attention. And it's so quick, for us to even, social media, of any sort. But we can very easily go on to watch a quick video and find ourselves a half an hour or an hour later still scrolling away and watching. But that has taken our body from an open, healthy state to where we pretty much just close it down, and then we're sitting there on that phone and off we go for hours. So I could imagine, just doing these very, very basic exercises will remind people on a regular basis, of being able to concentrate on their own personal well-being and looking at the day-to-day activity that you do that could impact your health without you even knowing it. I'll be surprised or interested to know, how much research has been done into that. As an example, how many people since mobile phones have evolved as much with all the different social media channels, how many people have health issues that they don't realize that are actually caused as a result of the time on the phone and the posture as a result of that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even simple things like the neck, if you go on the underground, just watch people. Of course, they're not looking, at the phone in front of them. It's always like this, isn't it? And the neck could be half an hour commuting to work each way or longer. The neck, obviously gets a lot of strain, and then the lower back and the whole body. So these practices are just ways to kind of become more aware of the body. So if our neck is looking down for quite a while, you'll definitely, if your energy is kind of balanced, you'll kind of suddenly realize, oh God, my neck is getting a bit stuck or stiff. But often we're not aware of that until it becomes an issue. And you're right. I think these things are not really being watched. There's too many other things happening in the world, and I think that, the addiction of the phone is probably one of the most difficult ones to kind of wean ourselves off, or at least do it in a healthy way, not stay on it for hours, like you say. And
I think people are going to have to take out health insurance plans with their mobiles in future.
Yeah. So look, what we'll do before the last point, we'll just go through all of them quickly, because I just want to show that you can take 2 minutes or 1 minute to actually clear stress in different ways. Okay, so the first one is just shaking it out. Even though we're sitting, we'll do it sitting. If you have a break once an hour and just shake out the stress wherever it is, shake the legs, the arms, anywhere the body's holding the stress in. And then cleansing off. You feel the shoulders a bit stiff, just clean it off the shoulders, clean it off the head, back of the head, lower back, legs down to earth, whole body. You can just clean off, like taking a layer of tension off each time. Hands, we mentioned, really take time, even if you're just watching TV, just rub the knuckles, rub inside of the hands, really get the fingers and the root of the fingers flexible. As we said, fingers relate to all the internal organs, relate to the spine, keep the hands flexible. Head, cleaning off from the face, cleaning any tension off from the face. The division between the face and the hair, and then pushing energy to the back, and then without touching, just cleaning off. So once these become a mini habit, don't have to do them all, but you might think, God, my head was really fuzzy, foggy. Let me just clear it. Let me clear it. Let me do some breathing. Bring the breath down to the lower abdomen. Notice everything settles very quickly. Just feel the abdomen moving gently. When we press down gently, the abdomen contracts. Breathing in through the nose expands. Once you get the breath, let it happen. No need to think about it. We've settled the breath. And the other breathing is every cell being breathed. That's a beautiful, simple one. Can help us go to sleep, help us relax in meetings, make us more present rather than absent. So that's a very useful one. Sitting posture, move the tailbone, feel the spine extending up to the sky. Head floats up a little bit, so the spine's soft, flexible. You might feel slightly taller, so that's good. So when you look at the mobile phone, this area isn't squashed. You're kind of quite connected and tall. And then moving the energy through the whole body. We can just use this simple self-healing form I've been doing for 35 years now. There's incredible results we can have with this, but in the office we can just gently do it a few times, moving the heavy element down to earth, clearing the energy down to earth.
So Alessandro, I'm conscious, so we're coming close to the end now. I wanted to, before we wrap up, this amazing 8 weeks of learning all about Qigong, I wanted to know, is there anything else that you wanted to cover today that you feel people really need to know before I ask you a few more questions about, how people can get hold of you and all the rest of it?
I think just the main thing is, 10 years ago, if you told people that they were made up of energy, that we vibrate at a certain frequency, people go mad. Now, everyone talks about energy, good vibes, bad vibes, how you feeling, feeling sort of, positive and feeling, a bit down today. We're all made up of energy. So anything we can do to raise our energy levels and keep them high is good, whether it's reading something, positive, listening to a podcast, but moving the energy through the body. I can't emphasize enough how when we embody the energy, there's a magical connection between the body, the mind, and the heart. And in this practice, we align those three. When you're aligned, then everything tends to work with greater ease. And whatever people do, just keep connected to yourself on a deeper level. We are in control of our health, we're in control of our thoughts, of our emotions. We are the observer. We don't need to be kind of a slave to them. And that's practice, and it's worth it. That's all I want to say. It's worth it for all of us.
Absolutely. I think taking time to invest in yourself, and it's amazing, just taking out 5 or 10 minutes to do some of these exercises, gives you the opportunity to just become present again, and slow down all the other noise that goes on around us. And I think that gives us a huge opportunity, as you say, to gain clarity, because it's so easy to get caught up and react to your day as you go along. that you can go on for days or weeks or months or even years, being stuck in a rut without getting that moment to literally just focus on the breath, and then that little bit of clarity that comes in between those moments of pausing, that actually you realize little things. Like for me, I've over the last 8 weeks or so, started looking at reevaluating how I'm spending some of my time so that I can focus more on health and well-being. And it's so easy to be able to say that, oh well, I've got work, I've got this, I've got that, I've got to do all these things, and it results in you not being able to really see the opportunities of those areas that are states of busyness, as I would put them, that are really not productive and adding value to your life. So thank you so much for taking us through this experience over the last 8 weeks or so. And there are so many people who still are learning about all kinds of ways of looking after yourself, and Qigong has become quite a big subject and something of real interest for me. But I know there's so many people out there that may have seen one episode or part of an episode, and want to maybe dig a bit deeper and find out more about it. How would you suggest they go about getting hold of you, and reaching out to you and seeing more of what's available and doing some more research?
Yeah, thanks, Mac. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, under my name, so people can message me. But I work at the moment, mostly online, one-to-one. I have a group once a week, a live group with live Qigong sessions on a Monday evening. I've got a retreat coming up in autumn in Sardinia. So there's a lot out there. And then there's a YouTube channel, Qigong with Alessandro, which has hundreds of free videos. And I'm doing a series at the moment, a new series of how to start your day in the most amazing way,
Wow.
for anyone. And then I'm doing a series for older people who are less mobile as well. So Qigong for older people and Qigong for corporate, for leadership, how to start your day in a most amazing way. So that'll be coming up soon. I'm quite excited to be filming that. I was filming this morning as well.
Excellent stuff. So you've become quite the what's the word? Like social media personality, as it were, over the last few months and years. And social media, when I go onto your YouTube, you literally have a lot of videos on there, and you've been dedicating yourself to this cause and helping people for so long, that I urge everybody, even if you just take 10 minutes out to go onto Alessandro's LinkedIn profile and just go and have a look at some of the posts and the content that he puts out there, because he really is well vested in helping people, making a difference, giving you that healthy lifestyle. And as you now say, with these new things coming up and helping people start their days in a magical way. I mean, how many of us start the day hitting the snooze button, throwing the alarm clock, or throwing something at the alarm clock, or in my case, telling Alexa to shut up, or hopefully that won't get me into trouble. But then finding a way to tear yourself away from your bed and head towards that kettle to get that coffee fix. If you can improve that morning routine, because it sets yourself up for success throughout the day. So I highly recommend reaching out to Alessandro and just going and learning from some of his stuff. But definitely, if you have the intention of making a difference and wanting to do that now, reach out to him directly. Start a conversation. He's a fantastic human being who is so easy to speak to and very approachable. So, Alessandro, I wish you all the best, and I have no doubt we're going to be doing more episodes at some point in the future. And I look forward to working with you in any way, shape, or form as we move forward. But please,
for this, and look, there's a final point which I meant to mention. So my friend went to China, met a very famous Qigong master, said, what's the most important thing about the practice? And this can help us in our daily life, you know, when we're having trouble or worries or anything like that. He said, always remember, always keep a smile in your heart. So sounds simple, sounds easy, but actually, if you mentally think of a smile in your heart, just see what happens. Somehow the heart settles a bit, opens a bit, and things seem better. You know, things, you know, it washes through the body. The heart is the ruler of the emotions. So just give a hint and remind ourselves through the day. You know, that's how we connect with others, through our heart. We receive, we give. So always keep a smile in your heart. That's a hint to give ourselves whenever we need it.
I think that's an extremely valuable little nugget there that only takes a few seconds, but it's a mental shift at the same time.
It's hard not to smile when you do it, actually. So I've always been quite serious in my life. So when I heard that and when I do it, I have to smile. So it's good.
Yeah, I think you know, a lot of people tend to, and I see this on LinkedIn quite often as an example, where I see people posting, and I sit there and I wonder, like, why so serious all the time? You know? And it's, you know, just give yourself an opportunity, and that's one of the things I love about where LinkedIn has shifted over the last 2.5 years. Is, you know, prior to the pandemic, everybody was, you know, the corporate picture, very formal, and almost like they were on a pedestal, too hard to reach. And, you know, you look at their picture and go, oh, you know, they probably won't respond to me because they're already putting up this barrier. And now people have become a lot more human. You know, there are smiles on people's profile pictures, which is fantastic to see. But it also just makes you more approachable and human. So, you know, I think that's it's a little stealth tip on how to build relationships a lot easier and move past that barrier that you potentially put up yourself.
Thank you, Mac, and thank you for opening LinkedIn up to so many of us, to making it such an enjoyable platform to be on, you know, such a friendly platform. And I just connect with people now and comment and engage, and people just love it. They respond to it, you know, because we're all humans. We're all, you know, we're all here. We're all in the same game, aren't we, really?
Exactly. We're all just, you know, building relationships and you know, developing those and seeing where those conversations may lead. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for, you know, trusting me in the process as well.
Thank you so much, Mac.
Excellent stuff. Well, listen, I wish you all the best. And everybody, you know, if you can do, and you found this series of benefit, please go into the comments and just drop what you've taken away from it as well. That'll be amazing. So thank you, everybody. Have an incredible evening.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.